Welcome to the second in a series of 3 wellbeing webcasts, which we've developed in partnership with the IGD. My name is Deborah Hume, founder of Minerva Engagement, and in this session we'll build on what we discussed in the first webcast, and we'll be exploring and sharing insights into how to best regulate our emotion and reduce our stress levels. As I've already mentioned, I'm from Minerva Engagement, and we're specialists in applied neuroscience for high performance and well-being. And we support people and business in times of change. And as we discussed on the last webcast, we're certainly in a period of quite considerable change. And what I'd like to do, or what I'm asking of you actually, as we go through this webcast, is if you can, as you listen, if you can reflect on how this is applying to you and how some of the concepts and some of the techniques that I'm going to discuss may work in your life. And if you need some time as I go through, just press the pause button and take a few moments to reflect before restarting. As we discussed last time, we all respond to stress and anxiety in different ways, and we all have different tolerance levels. Some of us will have high tolerance, some of us will have low tolerance, and it works in the same way as a muscle. The more we apply emotional regulation techniques, the more we can build our resilience to change, the more we can strengthen our tolerance level and be able to increase it. Now, some of us will have low tolerance levels because of the way that we were nurtured or experiences that we've had through adult life. So there's no right or wrong, and it is within our gift to be able to strengthen it. And if we can, and if we can put the habits in place that enable us to do that, then it serves us well, considering that we're all operating in this changing environment. And I don't just mean right now. Change is part of daily life. So the more we can build our resilience and our tolerance levels, the happier we're likely to be. So how do we do it? And there are a number of different ways that we can look at this. And what we've done here is split it into behavioural sort of habits that we can put in place, and also things that we can do from a process point of view. I'm not suggesting for a minute you do all of these. Just have a listen to what I am saying, and the ones that speak to you, the ones that are going to fit with your life, and the ones that you're sort of interested in exploring further, then by all means put those into practice. So the first one is a really easy one actually, and it is labeling. And what that means is when we're starting to feel our anxiety levels rise and we're getting those sort of murmurs in our stomach and we're starting to get hot and we're feeling an emotion, one of the easiest ways to calm that emotion down is just to label it. So if we're feeling angry, just to think, I'm feeling angry. Or if we're feeling stressed, I'm feeling stressed. And as we label it, there's been a lot of research undertaken by the neuroscientist Matt Lieberman, who has done some work around the fact that when we label an emotion, it actually calms our limbic system, particularly the response of the amygdala, which is very involved in a lot of things, but also in our fear response. The key to labeling, though, is not to ruminate. I'm not suggesting that we sit there and just keep going over and over and over, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry, because by doing that, we will become even more anxious. It is a very light touch. I'm feeling angry, move on. And as we do that, we reduce our anxiety levels. The other way that we can undertake it is through breathing. And this sounds very simple because we breathe all day, every day, but there's big differences in how we breathe. The shallower our breath, the faster our breath, the more anxious we will become. As we slow our breath down, particularly as we take a long time to exhale, what actually happens is that we activate sensors in our lungs, which through a nerve called the vagus nerve sends a message directly to the brain to say that we're okay, everything's okay. It's an evolutionary response, and it makes sense because in the olden days, going back thousands of years, if we were in a very stressful situation, life-threatening situation, we would be running hard. We'd either be holding our breath or we would be breathing very, very quickly. So the more we can slow that breathing down, the more we tell our whole system, brain, mind, and body, that we're okay. And as we do that, our anxiety levels will reduce. The other way that we can do it is by journaling. Again, it sounds very simple, but it's incredibly effective. There's been a massive amount of research undertaken around this. If we spend just 20 minutes a day across a 3-day period writing out everything that we feel and everything that we're experiencing, it has the impact of just getting it out of our mind and our body onto paper. And as we do that, again, our system relaxes. So journaling is very effective. And for those of us who are having quite fitful sleep at the minute with thousands of thoughts running around our heads, when we wake in the night, if we have a notepad and pen by the side of the paper, just write it out. And as it exits the mind will calm down. Another way is mindfulness, and some of you may practice mindfulness, some of you may not, but it's a fabulous way to bring us out of the past, which is where we tend to do most of our ruminating. Oh, if only I'd done this, if only I'd done that, if only I'd said this, actually making our system go into massive stress overdrive. Or we'll be awfulizing about something that's coming in the future. What if, you know, I can't believe all sorts of different things. As we do that, again, we send our anxiety spiraling into the sky. So the more we can bring ourselves right back to the present moment and pull ourselves to what's actually happening now, the stronger we strengthen the muscle, because we increase that fluidity from taking ourselves from a stressful state to the present state, which is normally in our life quite calm. At this particular moment in time, I'm absolutely fine. And we do it by concentrating on simple things like breath, for example, or the sky or the trees or the flower. We don't have to do 20-30-minute mindfulness sessions. We can be mindful when we're eating about what we eat. We can be mindful about something that's going on outside the window. It's the key is to bring our mind to the present and learn how to do that. So how to take it out of anxiety into something that is a calmer space. So the other things that we can think about are more process driven, but again, very useful. When we're going through periods of real uncertainty, one of the easiest things that we can do is just to bring back into play some control. And the reason that works is building on what we said in that first webcast, that our brains are prediction machines. They like certainty and they like control. So even if we are controlling the time we go to bed, or controlling the time we do work, or controlling the time that we are eating, by bringing in some of those controls again, we're reintroducing some certainty into an uncertain space. And by doing that, we calm the limbic system or our emotional response. Another way is to create new schedules, new activities. Once with all of the change that's going on at the minute, our normal schedules, our normal way of doing things has completely shifted. So the more we can bring new timetables, new activity schedules back into play, the calmer we will feel. I think the next one for me is really important, this being able to reimagine the future, particularly at the moment, but it also applies for many different times when we're going through quite transformative change. Our future at the minute is really unknown. All of those plans we had for summer holidays, all those plans we had for weddings, all those plans we had for trips abroad are all, well, they've all gone. We don't know whether we're going to be able to do any of that. So we need to bring the boundaries closer. What can I do in May? What can I focus on right now? And for me, it's been really helpful to almost park any of the long-term plans and to focus on things that I can do within the confines of my home. And that's brought some certainty and also some pleasure. So for example, for me, my goal, if you like, at the moment is to repaint the living room. It sounds really simple. I wouldn't have even thought about it 3 months ago, but actually right now I can do it. I get some pleasure from it, and it's bringing some certainty back into this environment that I find myself in. And the final thing that we can think about is plan for failure. And what I mean by that is trying to put in place implementation plans. So if this is going to happen, then this is what I'm going to do. And it works really well. As human beings, when we're faced with difficult situations or things that we don't like or we're not comfortable with, we tend to turn away from them and hope they'll go away, or try and brush them under the carpet and aim to forget about them. But unfortunately, that kind of suppression doesn't work, because as much as they might be out of sight, they're not out of our mind, and our mind will continually ruminate or awfulize about what is going to happen or about what has happened. So the more we can plan out, which again is reintroducing certainty, which the brain loves and the body loves, the more we can plan out what we will do if that worst thing happens, the more certainty we bring back and the calmer we feel. So if I'm going to be made redundant, then this is what I'm going to do. If one of my family get ill, then this is what I'm going to do. If then, and we can do it for just about everything. And hopefully we will never have to apply those then plans, but they are there. And just the fact that they are there calms our system and enables us to be more resilient to what's going on around us. That brings us to the end of our second webcast, and I hope you found it helpful, and there's some techniques and tips that you can take away and apply in your own lives. I think the thing that I would say actually about all of those tips is that they don't happen overnight. It is a question of practice over time. So hopefully, as we go through this period, you will be able to enhance your tolerance levels. We have a handout, a mindfulness fact sheet that is available, and another downloadable PDF that you can take from the IGD website, and it also has a guided mindfulness practice in there. If you're interested in learning more about engaging whole self, then we have some training modules on our Minerva engagement website, which you will find on the events page. And you'll also find all of the webcasts that we're doing in association with IGD on the IGD website. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I shall look forward to seeing you in the next webcast, which is Staying Cool Under Pressure. Thank you.